Hey, welcome back for another The Red Light show with the hockey coach Francis, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on amazing great Sunday night, September 28th, 2025. Hopefully an amazing great weekend. Look like the weather, it was really nice in Canada for what I heard and the North USA. And Thailand is a bit raining, but it's still warm, and that's the most important things that happen here in Thailand. Tonight, we are back, of course, with the Red Light Show. We're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens, of course. We're going to talk about fun news, what happening for the last week in NHL. And the subject of the night, the Montreal Canadiens cut down to 34 players until they cut 5 more today. So they are at 29. Going to talk about what happening during the last week for the Montreal Canadiens. 4 games they play. And they finished with a week at 3-1-0. Going to talk about what the player was the most impressed or the most disappointed since the beginning of the playoff or the training camp for the Montreal. And I'm going to talk about other team in NHL with injuries. So a lot of the subject we got on the show tonight. And of course, the Blue Jays. What a great weekend for the Blue Jays. If I do sometimes the baseball during the year, but during the summer, and I decided to do the Blue Jays at last Friday night. And we got a lot of people Friday night, and it was good game for them. And then the magic number was 1 today, and they have to win to move on to win the division of the American East, and that's happening with a big W of 13-4, I believe, the final score. Kirk, the Captain Kirk, have 2 home run with a double, lead with 6 RBI for the catcher of 296 pounds. So maybe not 96, but they call him Mr. Michelin. And but great performance overall for the Blue Jays. They won the 3 games on the weekend, and they are the champions of the division. They have to wait now between the Red Sox and the Yankees to play the best of the 3. We're going to carry on that series playoff for all the fans of the baseball. So we're not changing the channel, but I think it's good to follow the team in Canada, and I think it'll be fun to follow the Blue Jays. Couple of games in NHL tonight, 5 games. I don't have to tell you what's going on because RJ Calabro from New Jersey, the man of all the update and the chat's going to carry on all what happening today in NHL with fun news. And of course, a red light is impossible without the captain of the Hockey Nation. He is back at home, ready to talk about hockey. And welcome back, Mr. Enartap is in the house tonight.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Coach, it's that time of the year. We're getting ready, not just for hockey, but also winding down and getting exciting times for the Blue Jays. Just when it looked like it was a safe division championship, turned out to be very nerve-wracking. But in the end, they pulled it off. And, who better than guys like Kirk and Springer that have been clutch all year long, coming through and at a most necessary time for them. So congratulations to the Jays for finishing first, and hopefully, we're going to see a long run to the end here.
Yeah, definitely it was a good weekend for them after a couple of games. Like I think they had 6-7 games last week. They are struggling to put some run on the board. But they did during the weekend with a great performance overall. A couple of, jam over the fence, a couple. It's fun. And to make a great team, and I think in baseball, it could be wrong, but in any sport, you have the best player, but also you need a support. And I think that's weekend. That's what you saw. Kirk had 13 home runs before today. And you have a player like Luke's and you have a different player step up every game. Like Friday night, Ross Show with a big home run, a 2-run, I believe. And then Saturday, Luke's. And then today, we got Kirk. And then between that, the veteran, 35 years old, George Springer have a great weekend as batter number one in the lineup, and I think overall that's a good one. Of course, the question is going to be the pitcher, the starter, and but today was a great performance of the reliever from Fleury today to Valen, and then you have. Fisher, I missed one, by the way, but still at the end, it was a very good performance for the Blue Jays. So they deserve that W, and they deserve the champion of the division. So congratulations for all the fans of the Blue Jays. We're going to carry on that playoff play-by-play if everything turn around to be good. So that's happening during the weekend. Like a few people knock the door. But what you want to tell me, Mr. Natap?
I was just going to say the nice thing about them finishing first or winning the division is it allows them now to sort of set their rotation in the proper manner that they want to for the playoffs, and it also gives some of the pitchers a little bit of time off to sort of regroup and make sure that they're fresh.
And they stay home, right? So they don't have to travel at the beginning. That's right. So that's a good thing about that. We don't know yet what happened with Bichette. If he's going to be part of the playoff or not, but look, we're going to see.
Be tough.
Yeah, and because this, that lineup, you can see with they're strong of the four. What's the name? Zalander. Well, it's not Zalander, but the right fielder, like he signed for $90 million. He did not do very well, but
Santander. Yeah. I mean, we got to cut him a little bit of slack because he's coming back from a pretty big injury, and you know what? He's got the experience. He's been there before, though, Coach. So if he wakes up at some point in the playoffs, it could be a bonus addition for them.
That will helping their lineup, the order of the batters. So we'll see what happens. We have a few people knock the door, guys. Don't forget, please, to click on the like, subscribe to Hockey Nation Show, become a member of the Patreon or the channel. That would be great. We appreciate all of you. We are about approximately 112 subscriber of the hockey, so to get the 10,000. So if you want to sharing this with your friend, that'd be great. We have a few people, Mr. Natap, before we start in the house. Mr. Guy Billy N26 is in the house. The big fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs lost every year at the first round. Mr. Luciano Moderator is in the house tonight. Welcome back. Now we have a new name. Now it's called Lucianos. So you can see he's
Lucianos.
He got influenced by Danny right now. So maybe there's a double Danny behind that. We'll see what happens. Triple W knocked the door. Welcome back. PLW back with me today. PLW, we have a few people was with us afternoon for the play-by-play I did. So glad to see all of you. I don't know how many pops he did so far, Mr. Natap, but a lot of pops pop-up is on the baseball game for Mr. PLW. Ozu Murphy is in the house. Stan the Man is in the house. Marco Larabé, not moderator, but co-host of the show every Wednesday night. Marco, not Marco, but Natap. Marco will be with me Wednesday night for the Hump Day show. And we have a special guest, the Prospect Don is going to be with us. By the way, he just buy a new website for the Prospect and NHL. It's a little bit like they covered all the prospect, but also they can do all the kind of analytics for the young players around the world. So more news about that, and hopefully he'll be with us Wednesday night. Possible no Jim this week. We're going to see if he can pop up during at the end of the week, but we have to wait a little bit more for Jim. We have PLW, Marco, M&M back in the house. M&M have a great day with the Ottawa Senator. Billy is back from Nova Scotia. Thank you. Mr. Roy, another member squad of the Terran, is back in the house. Welcome back. Our friend Henry is in the house. Claude Richard, directement de la belle capitale du Canada, Ottawa, est avec nous ce soir. And then we have a lot more people going to pop up. And don't forget, please, to click on the like. I appreciate it. If you have any question, please put the letter Q. Mr. Natap, it will be a pleasure for him to answer to your question. For sure. Zeph Lecab is in the house. Welcome back, Zeph. Thanks with us. And with CPM Production, Jays versus Padres and the World Champions, World Series. Whoa. We'll see what happening there.
Like that.
Is an attack. Don't worry. It will wish PLW one beer per inning and a couple of more for the after game party. That's the way to celebrate the fun Sunday. And like N26 and Marco said, it was a great weekend of the sport in many ways. I don't know if you watch other sport, but baseball, you have hockey, you have football,
Hockey.
the Ryder Cup, rugby, bowling, putt, name it, know it, you do it, whatever happening is on that. But it was a great weekend. If you are a sport fans, that's what we're looking for after a difficult Skinner make a big save, by the way. I'm watching live. Vancouver and Edmonton Oilers. Shedell tried to score, but Mr. Skinner said, not yet tonight. What happened. So that's all I think we did pretty much around it. We don't have no headlines tonight. We have a couple of things to talk about in NHL happening the last couple of days on different ways. Go Bills. Yeah, right, Luciano. Bill win today. That's great to see that. The Chiefs win today, by the way. And I don't know other team. I did not look at all the results on NFL today. I was focusing on the baseball, like the Yankees won today. The team of Roger Bouchard, Mr. Tap, by the way. Ozzy Murphy is back. Richard Jensen is in the house. Good evening, coach. And at that, I see Sibor Ed wearing the A. There we go. That's the way to do that. Frank Lazar at trick, Marco Darabi. Yeah, we see that. I watched the game Chicago. After the baseball, I need to do something about that. And a bit later, Mr. Tap, we'll see what happening. And it's your news, Mr. Tap. What happening at the show tonight? Don't forget, please, to click on the like. First of all, my signature. He finally did it, Mr. Tap, after all the speculation during the summer, and all now it's over, at least for 6 years. We don't hear to Mason McDavid go nowhere because he resigned with the Anaheim Ducks for a deal at $7 million. At the end of the day, it was I don't know, it was a hard negotiation, but it was more about a lot of trade rumor about that players. And I'm signed the 22, 23 years old McDavid. So what do you think about that performance, that signature?
I think it's a fantastic signature for Anaheim. To be able to get him for longevity, and also I think at a very, very reasonable cap wage. I think it's great. There was a reason why we all dreamt about having him here in Montreal, because he would have been the perfect 2C for us. But that's a bit wishful thinking at this point. I think Anaheim always intended on keeping him, and it was just a matter of. I don't think it was so much hard negotiation as much as it is. I think a lot of the agents right now, coach, are just taking and giving the advice to their clients to hang on. Let's see how things unfold, because they don't want to be the agent that gets their client a bad contract when maybe you got McDavid, Kaprizov still, a few others that still haven't filled out their long-term contracts yet, and they don't want to be the ones that give their client a disadvantage when we're seeing that the salary cap is going up on a year-to-year basis. And where's that middle ground? That's what I think they're trying to find. And once one player signs, it will have a domino effect, and we're going to see, I think within the next, I'd say probably a couple of weeks, a few more other guys being signed that have been sort of hanging out there, and we've been wondering why.
Yeah, good comments. Tony, back in the house, and Eric, welcome all of you. And don't forget to please click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great. You're absolutely about that, Marco, in our tap, about the fact that's open door for a couple of other players, at least for the RFA. I think the contract Luke Hughes is coming very soon. Is going to open door for other players, RFA too, for next season. Next year, we have a lot of players are coming with UFA, like Panarin, McDavid, Camp, Kaprizov, Corners. So that gave a little bit of direction what he's going to do. And then for the RFA next year, we have a couple of players like Bedard, Fantilli, Smith, and they have more Carlson, I believe. So if you put this together, that will, open the little bit the negotiation now to put. Look, if McDavid is $7 million, that's the start of many other contract negotiation in NHL. Marco talked about this is good for both team for both parties. I think I agree with that.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think it's good for the Anaheim Ducks to get him for 6 years, and they guarantee at $7 million. I don't know the ceiling of McDavid, in my opinion, yet. I don't know what he's going to be. But I think for me, a second center at $7 million is the same like a Carlson or Norris long term. We'll see he's going to reach more the number of the point. But I think that's good for the Anaheim Ducks and for the players. Now he's going to be UF free at 28 years old. So 27 to 28 years old. So that would be good for him to get another big contract after that, and we'll see what he's going to be. We don't know, the team rebuilding we put on the Anaheim Ducks. What direction they're going to be the next 5-6 years over there. And but I think at the end of the day, this is a good signature for both. And congratulations for McDavid to be that kind of contract, and we'll see at the end of the day. Bush is in the house. Welcome back, Billy. Eric also is in the house.
The other thing you want to keep in mind, coach, is with McTavish, it's the intangibles that you get with him, right? Like we shouldn't just focus on the points he'll get. Like even if he's a perennial 55 to 65 point player, it's what he does that's beyond that is so valuable to the team. Like he brings a certain ruggedness to the game. Like he's hungry for the puck all the time. He's a very good skater. I think he sees the ice very well, and he makes the players around him that much better. So, these are the kind of things that, we were talking earlier about, the Jays and what made them successful this year. Besides the talent, I mean, you always have to have the talent. I get that 100%. But what makes them reach the levels that they do is the fact that they get along. It's the chemistry. It's what each person fills up in terms of a role on the team. And I think that that's what McTavish does for Anaheim. Like they have so many solid pieces. Like when you look down the middle and you're looking at guys like Carlson and now McTavish, and their defense is slowly starting to come into form. Like this is going to be a tough team to play against on a nightly basis.
Now you're right about that for sure. This is a team like San Jose, Montreal, Utah, and Chicago on the right direction. They
Yeah.
mix a couple of plus with veterans now. They have a little bit like the club farmer, the Rangers fill up the Anaheim with Trouba and a grader. They have Veterano there. It's a good mix of the young prospect. Very good on defensive side. They have a couple of players on the top like Carlson, McDavid, and we have to wait what is going to happen. They have McQueen. They have Seneke. So this is going to be a good team and the future. Fun to watch. Anaheim, many times Marco Lachey said, fun to watch the Anaheim Ducks. That will be another team to watch definitely at the West Coast time, the evening for sure. So we have to see what's happening on that team. We have a few people knock the door. Maurice Robillard welcome in the house. Talk about the Vedeno. We have a good chance to start the season with the Montreal Canadiens base at Versailles City. Talking about Vedeno, Marco have a question. If camp of the Toronto Maple Leafs is available on the waiver, it would be a plus over Joe Veleno, or you'll not take camp, you keep Joe Veleno.
So the thing is, right now, I would agree with that statement that he is probably an upgrade, but it's what I've seen from Veleno's play and what he's been saying this entire summer. I think I mentioned it last week when we were on the show. I mean, he spoke very confidently about himself, and he said he's taken the summer seriously, and he wants to realize and show everybody what he's really capable of. I mean, we're talking. I mean, Veleno is a first-round pick in the NHL, so like it's not that he doesn't have the pedigree. It's he just hasn't put it all together so far. But if this guy can sort of open up a little bit more scoring, he brings so much to the game that I would say down the road I would probably want Veleno over Kemp because I think there's more of a ceiling there.
Yeah, you're right about that. The age play a role for sure, and
That too, yeah.
I think the fact like he's already into it. I think there will be if it was a big step over, and the role he play camp is really a face-off man and a defensive shutdown. And
Right.
for me, he equal more Jake Evans and not compared to Joe Villano. So if you get if you get him camp, you just add another Jake Evans in the team. So you not change, you don't increasing your level of the players on the role inside of Montreal Canadiens. So I don't see now. Of course, he can play on the PK, understand that, but I think we have already Jake Evans. So I would prefer to add something different if to get the camp, and that's the reason I would just let it go. I think I would not see any problem. I don't want to do that direction with that part. Other comments in the chat. Thanks for sharing. A2 is in the house. Welcome back. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Do not touch any member of the league and the stress of losing their brain. About that, Tony is in the house. No way is an upgrade. That just not going to happen. Cam is a left center cheap replacement for Devorak. But I don't see
Well,
him a third
I
line
think
player.
Veleno's left too, isn't he? Isn't
Oh,
Veleno a left?
yeah, yeah.
Veleno's also left center.
So I don't see an improvement at all about that. So I will not, for me, I will not touch it at all for camp with the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, they already have Jake Evans. Now, the next thing about that, Mr. Natap, is honestly, Toronto signed Stollards, a 4-year deal at $3.75 million. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, there was speculation about that yesterday, Coach. And at one point they had him at 3 years, and then 4. It wasn't confirmed. But I mean, given the year he had last year, I thought that was really a breaking out year for him, and he did wonders to keep Toronto really in the position that they were all year long. So to get him for 4 more years at that price, I think that's very reasonable, especially since we're talking about a starter for the Leafs, right? And now that Joseph Wall is down for who knows how long, that's not this has been disclosed, but we saw also that they went after Reimer as a PTO. So we'll see how this goes. But I think the deal itself is very good for Toronto, and I'm sure Stollarts is pleased as well.
Yeah, you're right about that. For me, a little bit surprised to get only 3.75, to be honest with you. I was expecting more. He's a goaltender number 1 last season. I know it's a short exposure. I would say as a starter. He's always been a backup number 2 in the NHL with Anaheim Ducks prior to go to the Panthers, honestly. Good year last season. But at the end, I was like, with all the increasing, he's only like 600,000 more at Montembeau.
That's right.
So I was expecting a little bit more for him, a 4.5 minimum. All the contract they signed, the goaltending this year from Knight, for Dostal, Wolf, and everybody else, Hill, they're all about $5 million a plus. So a little bit surprised. Good deal for the Leafs to keep him a 4 years deal, and but because he's not young, he's not like 22 years old. So I think it's anyway. At the end of the day, good deal for the Leafs to get that goaltender. He performed very well for last season with the Leafs, and I'm going to see what happening for that one. Again, everybody talk about camp. If you look about his guys in the 13 point last year, 19 point last year before that. He had 27 points before that, 26 before that. He had 5, 8, 7 goals in NHL the last 3 seasons. He had the same number of the point, like less of Villano at the end. Jake Evans had more point at him to compare at him, and his time with the leave and the last 3 seasons. 15 minutes, drop at 13 minutes, a drop at 12 minutes. Yes, it's good at 51% of the face-off, but we have already a specialist of power play, and he does not do anything at 5-on-5. Now we're going to have a specialist on face-off and do anything after that. I don't see this kid, this player cannot be on the third line on the Montreal Canadiens. Have to be on the fourth line with the Montreal Canadiens. If you get him, let's say we gave up Joe Villano and we get David Camp. It's no matter for me. Jake Evans become your third center in NHL. He's 30 years old, 6'2". I don't know. He has 50 hit. He never hit 100 hit per year. He have an average of 60 per hit per season at 82 game per game. So I don't know. I don't feel that one.
It's a good journeyman, but yeah, I just don't see him fitting into Montreal in respect that he doesn't fill a key role that we need, right? Even if he were, let's assume that he were better than either an Evans or Valeno, which I don't believe. I mean, we're talking small amounts, right? You're not going to gain an advantage by having that, and I really even don't want to disrupt that line that worked so well last year with Galley, Evans, and Anderson. I think that's a line that one and the first line I think are the only two lines that are pretty much set for Montreal going into the season.
Now, your great point about that. A lot of people in the chat, cause Montreal should not trade for him is a sideways move. Triple W is in the house. Talk about this. Marco talk about with Zeph. Great deal for you. Talk about Solar. Same thing with N26. How good is Solar? Is he a difference maker? I think he have a good year last season, to be honest with you, Rick. So I think for me, it's a little bit a low price, in my opinion. But like I said, like Renata mentioned, we'll see what happens. The only reason you get the camp is for the playoff.
No, for face-offs. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it's an improvement. Like in the three games, I know Valeno in one of the games did not have a great night at the face-off circle, but I think the other two
Yeah, a
games
great
he
night
played
last night. You have 69%.
last night, yeah, he was at 70%. I think the other game he was at 62. Now he's not a career like 60% face-off person, but I think you take their exhibition games, so it's always hard to judge and extrapolate for the whole year. But at least they're good signs to see, right? And that's sort of what you want to hang your hat on for now.
You're right about that. Let's move on for the next one. The St. Louis Blues signed a Camp Fowler at 3 years at $6.1 million. 33 years old, everybody. This, I want every one of you pay attention of that amount. $6.1 million. Why?
Yeah.
Because Mike Madison is going to turn 30 years old, I believe, next year. And he's going to be UFA. I know Fowler who he is. I understand he is a second pairing defenseman, have a good season last year. We have to give credit. He bounced back from the Anaheim Ducks, right? He's a good place right now with the Blues. They like him. He became a little bit the power play at some point last season. He a little bit reborn with the Blues, a little bit like what I played with Mike Madison with the Montreal Canadiens. Mike Madison took advantage of the lack of the skill, the talent on the defenseman when he showed up with the Montreal. He becomes 61 point, what I'm talking about. So Fowler took the same thing with them. But this is going to be the agent of Mike Madison is smiling today, Mr. Nota.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, And 3 years isn't a huge gamble for St. Louis, but I think it's a great deal for Fowler. As you mentioned, coach at his age, um, like he had a solid year last year, and I think he really rounds up the defense for them. Like he's paired up, I believe, with Perry Echo, and now you got Broberg, on the second pairing, which is with Justin Falk. That's also decent. And now we'll see what happens with Mayu on their third pairing this year. But he had a good exhibition game, the last one he played. So St. Louis defense looks solid. Like I think that this sort of is going to hold them until some of the younger kids that they drafted will come up through the system as well. So, yeah, is it a little bit too much? And does it set a precedence for, like you said, guys like Matheson and others that are not necessarily, um, first pairings? Maybe, but it's something St. Louis had to get done, I think.
Now, your great point about that. Look, yeah, it's a defenseman get 40 points per season with 8, 9 goals. Um, and he have a transformation, Mr. Nata. 51 game with the Blues, 36 points. It was like at the pace to get
Yes.
60 points last season with the Blues. So we'll see what happening with him.
And it,
But look,
it makes
this
such
is
a it makes such a difference. What sometimes you go on a team and you're just matched up with the right
the
partner,
connection,
and it
fit,
really
everything.
brings the
You
game around.
find the
Yeah,
good partner beside you, everything. He played 21 minutes average with the Blues last season. He was at 24 minutes with the Anaheim Ducks. So look, this is a good deal for the Blues at 6.1, and for him, 3 years deal is going to be 36, 37 years old. But I imagine Mike Madison right now take a note, and I don't see what Mike Madison could be lower at that level, honestly. So that will be very interesting what happened for the rest. Couple of great conversation that shot. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great. Um, 23 new player on 23 new players on the list of the waiver happening today in NHL. I know some of them is from Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to report them at the next section of the Montreal Canadiens. But prior to that, 20 was yesterday. Today, 23. Zero claim happening yesterday. And I'll be honest with you guys. People say, oh, they're going to get him. They're going to get him. It's not that way. Because every time you add a players, you have to fit on your team, the salary cap, the number of the player, the contract, their team is almost done. But I don't see that. At least you have an injury or a purpose player can be claimed because they're missing a right defenseman or a specific position. So that said, for me, we're going to see, but that's starting this weekend. It's not that tomorrow. The next day, it's only week, all week long until the beginning of the season. You're going to get waiver, and more weekend close,
yeah,
Mr. Tap, at the beginning of the season. You're going to
that's
get
right.
good players on the waiver list, and that's what's happening there at that time because you have other teams like Detroit with Berggren example. They have a couple of right defensemen in NHL. They have to figure out that, and we see. Example, if Montreal cannot have two defensemen ready, Coley and Dobson for the first month of the October. I just gave an example. Don't start any rumor. Coach said that, but because maybe they're thinking Engstrom or Engstrom is not ready, but maybe they're going to looking to get maybe a waiver players on the list. That could happen there, but we have to see honestly what happened. So that's one thing. You want to add something about this or not?
Well, Montreal is going to be in that position themselves. It's that second wave of waivers, not to play on the word, but that you're going to have to make some tough decisions. And like when you look at Montreal, you're probably looking. It depends who they decide to put out there. Like I think somebody like Farrell might be a victim in all of this, and I doubt they'll put Struble there. I think the defense is pretty much set for Montreal. There's not much decision to be made there. I know Engstrom has played very well, and I definitely think he'll be a call up in case of injuries. But at this point, I think they're going to stick pat with the seven defensemen that they have right now.
Yeah, you're right about that. I'm watching, guys, the Oilers and the Canucks. It looks like a hockey ball missing out top. It's like they
Still
just
two
go
nothing.
up, they go back down, they go back up, they take a chance, they open the door, the play. It's fun to watch, but it's interesting to see that. Anyhow, Francis, welcome. Mr. Dan Collette, welcome back. Thanks to be with us. Maurice, you got the right answer for Marco. And Triple W, Billy, and Dan, Suarez, and everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the likes. We're going to do now a couple of injuries around the day, guys, very quickly. Vancouver announced Brisebois is out indefinitely with a lower body injury, Brisebois defenseman. Then you have Anaheim announced Harkins, ex-Winnipeg Jet, Mr. Natap, if you remember him, on the bottom six, out for a minimum of 8 weeks with the LBI also. Following by the Seattle, Kako, broken hand during the last game. He's going to be out for 4 weeks. And then you have McCarty for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's going to be out indefinitely for this young prospect. For him, ex-Winnipeg Jets. And that's give you a little bit more while you have other things happening around the NHL with injuries. But I think this is happening the last 24 hours, 48 hours. But I want to mention this because I think it's very important. For that injury have an impact not only for the Florida Panthers at the Olympic Winter and on the Atlantic Division. And of course, we talk about the captain, Barkov, is going to be out a minimum of 7 to 9 months, following, of course, with his assistant captain, Matthew Tkachuk, is going to be out until the middle of December. So what this
That's
impact
right.
Barkov injury, Mr. Norton?
Well, it's this huge injury for Florida. Something, I mean, it's a team that obviously has depth, and like last year, Kachuk was out for a while, and they were able to navigate the waters no problem. But now you add another key element, right? Like Barkov, I think he stirs the drink for everybody on that team. He makes everybody around him that much better. We'll see how somebody like Reinhardt is affected by his absence. I know that they have depth, of course, like Lundell and guys like Listerainen that are ready to help out in those instances, and they can easily move into that spot and help. But there's also some speculation out there from what I heard that Florida could be one of two teams that is interested in maybe signing Kuznetsov if he comes back. But I mean, you can't compare the two at this stage in their lives. I think Barkov is absolutely an elite player in the NHL and is a key player, not just on the ice, but off the ice for Florida. So it's going to be a huge miss if it's the entire year. And, with the new rule that they put in, coach, like it's not like he can come back, let's say, in the playoffs, because then they'll have to worry about going over the cap. So it's going to be a big issue for Florida.
Yeah, you're right about that. Because also, you take a note, and Billy talked about this. Probably come back just in time for the playoff. Yes, but the problem is your salary cap, because the new rules of the salary cap changed this year. So you cannot start the playoff without Barkov on the not on the roster. So you have to pay attention about that. Honestly, a couple of comments in the chat mentioned that. Of course, for me, Mr. Natap, that changed completely the Atlantic Division. If you think we're going to take, guys, Montreal Canadiens example, because it's easy, you're going to understand better this way. If we lose Nick Suzuki, Mr. Natap, right? We don't have anybody to take the spot on Nick Suzuki. Like, we don't, we not close, We don't have anybody. That's the real thing, guys.
We don't have a 2C. We don't have a 2C.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's not to be mean or to disrespect Evans and Doc and New Hook and everybody else, right? But that's the real thing. But
Yeah.
for the Fleur Panthers, they are lucky because they have Anton Lundell. And Lundell, I'm telling you right there, he is a copycat or backup 2.0. Not at his prime, because Lundell is still young. But Lundell, at age he is right now, is maybe maybe one of the best prospect at his age and underrated in all the NHL. If you reset this draft year, he was selected, I believe, by Lundell at 11 or 12. I could be wrong. I have to look about this. But I'm pretty sure now he would be the top five of that draft year for the Fleur Panthers. That said, they still have Lundell. They still have Lister-Renin if they want to use him. They could use Evan Rodriguez. They still have Sam Bennett on the line over there. And plus, they have already the four line. Yes, it will miss the Florida, but it will not be a big impact. It's like if you lose Zuski. I still believe they're going to be in the playoff, but I think it would be harder to be, they will have to have meaningful game after the trade deadline. We know what Bizito can do. They can maybe trade for someone. Malkin, example, a lot of people talk about Malkin. You talk about Kuznetsov. I think they will start that way and wait what the team look like after 20 game, 30 game, and then realize, okay, what we have to do. And the first 20, 25 game in NHL, guys, that bring you approximately middle of November, Mr. Tap, at Thanksgiving. They play an average of 11, 13 game in October. That would bring them approximately that time at Thanksgiving. That time of the year, this year will be different. You're going to have a team going to go a little bit more low, and they try to give up front player to get better NHL draft pick. I think that's what my perception of what's coming for the upcoming season. So you're going to have some movement, and maybe that will open up a possibility to get a center at some point for the Fleur Panthers. That said, also, without Kachuk, that hurt the Panthers. I think for me now, they're not going to fight for the first position or the top three. I think right now you have to put them on the fourth division, on the fourth with Ottawa to fight for the spot for the playoff, in my opinion, right there. And maybe Ottawa go over them. So we have to wait. We know who they are. There's been a team solid for the last 3 years. We talk about the champion at the last two seasons. They're not going to be easy. They're going to have some challenge, but I still believe the Panthers are going to find a way to make the playoff. But what a great big news in NHL to lose a player like a Barkov, honestly. And for the team, Finland, at the Olympic, Mr. Tap, it's devastating for the team, for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, Coach? I mean, the other thing we have to keep in mind, I mean, you think of Florida. That's 3 years now in a row that they've reached the Stanley Cup Finals and won the last two in a row. What are the chances? Obviously, having played that much hockey, and you throw in the Four Nations, and you throw in the Olympics, and how many players on this Florida team are going to be at the Olympics, right? Like, that's the other consideration. So that's a lot of hockey. And while I agree with you that if there is a team that can still make the playoffs and pace themselves properly, and they do have a couple of guys, like we mentioned, Lundell is a definite fill-in for Barkov for the time being. It's going to be hard. Like, if you look at the two wild card teams, the Montreal and who was the other one? Ottawa, that last year. I mean, not much separated Florida from those two in terms of the overall points that they achieved, right? So the key is going to be they cannot fall into any kind of prolonged slump at the beginning, because the East has become so competitive that there's teams waiting to pounce on that. You look at Columbus, and you look at, could it be Detroit moving up a little bit? Is Montreal going to continue to improve? Obviously they are, but sometimes improvement isn't necessarily measured by points, right? Because it's so competitive in the East. If you get into a slump right away in the first month or month and a half, it's going to be hard to recover from that, especially when you don't have two players of the likes of Barkov and Kachuk.
Yeah, you're right about that. Would be interesting. Look here, Luciano said, actually, have Florida winning the cup again before the injuries. Luciano, yes, you did. Of course, a couple of people in the chat are sharing a couple of information left and right. People talk about Budzik instead of Snuggerud. We have a goal for the Vancouver Canucks. In my opinion, this goal should not be Alou. If it was during the season, but the exhibition game, who knows what could happen. Because fun light man for Eric. One thing I noticed about Bodzik does not look like he can create his own chance. Me really need a playmaker on his line. The real joke was Canada junior management in him for the camp. Bunch of a clown. PLW. Boris, fine, but they will still make the playoff. Agree with you. Year over year, I believe Columbus, Ottawa will take big stride this season. First, as surprise, Lucian, you talk about Ottawa. You said that Davis Green was not a good coach, now he talk about this. Finishing the NHL guy before we talk about Montreal Canadiens, just a quick note about this. The end of Marc-Andre Fleury, guys, during the weekend. Celebration of Pittsburgh. Every time when you lose a player like a Fleury with the Pittsburgh Penguins, been there for a couple of years, he became an icon. A special Fleury, it's fun. Another goalie, he have a great career. He still have a couple of years where he's struggling on the playoff, but his personality was amazing. Great line, great teammates, like they mentioned, great funny, but to be around him. And everybody loved Marc-Andre Fleury, but it's a great initiative. And I think that, I don't know, this could be an open door eyes for the other organization. When a player left their organization, it's been really good for the fans for many years, and then they complete their career to play one game and to get that kind of the relationship with the fans like last night with Fleury. This, I think, is good for hockey. I think it's good for everybody win at those kind of moments like that. The hockey fans, whatever you're not a Pittsburgh Penguins, for me, I was interested to watching this. I can see the feeling between and the love between the fans and the organization and the players. And play with one more time with Letang, Malkin, Crosby. They won 2 Stanley Cup together. I think it's good. I really like that idea. And hopefully this is going to be happen again somehow with other organizations. So just a quick note about Fleury.
And especially, Coach, you're absolutely right. I like that idea as well, because it's especially in a time and day and era in the NFL where obviously it's all about business. The whole aspect of loyalty does not prevail. Like they have to work within a cap and they have to do what's best for the team. So you end up sometimes doing things that, you may not have done, let's say, 25, 30 years ago. So to have somebody come back after their career is done, and it gives them, the honor and the respect that they deserve from the team that originally drafted them. I don't see anything wrong with that on a one-day contract to sign him, and he gets a proper, goodbye, and he gets the obviously maybe reunite with some of the players that he originally started off with that may still be on the team. So kudos to Pittsburgh, and I thought that was a great opportunity to give him the respect that he deserves.
Sir Tap, right now I'm shocked.
Why is that? Vancouver?
No.
What happened?
Let me breathe a little bit. Let me breathe right now, because now, fans,
breaking news.
Montreal Canadian fans, are you ready? We got some kind expert in hockey. Mention it's fun player for the Montreal Canadiens. We got sometime Norman Flynn. We got sometimes Georges Larac. Sometimes other Tony Marinaro, Marco D'Amico, and I can go all along that way. But today, guys, I have a big news to announce to you. This coming for Grant McCagg. Is it McCagg?
Oh yes, McCagg. Yeah, I read that too. I was shocked too.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, take a note about this one. Caden Cooley, I will say it in French first and then in English. Caden Cooley n'est pas meilleur que Jalen Strouble. So in English, Mr. Natap, he said, Caden Cooley is not better at Jalen Strouble.
That's unbelievable. I don't know. Maybe it's just clickbait. I don't know. I mean, to make that kind of a comment, I mean, if you're going to talk maybe about the fact that, and I always hate using this injury proneness. I mean, that could be something you can possibly allow you to make a comment like that. But again, that's totally unfair and unwarranted here. I think that we haven't even seen what Gouli can offer for this team in the future. Like this guy his stock is still rising. I think with Struble, yes, his value, he's a good defenseman. I don't doubt that, and I think he'll get better as time goes on. But I don't see him more than possibly a third pairing defenseman, at best the second pair defenseman, and that's the floor for Gouli, a second pair defenseman.
I'm shocked to see that, I'll be honest with you. First of all, David Gervais, merci d'être avec nous ce soir. And all the people, don't forget, guys, to click on the like. Nicholas is in the house. Look, they have a different opinion in hockey, and I kind of respect that. But I completely disagree by his comments. Now, I'm okay with the fact like Jalen Strouble have a good camp so far. Last year he started with a good camp, Mr. Natap, and then he struggled after that at the beginning of the season. This year, he have a good 2 game, in my opinion. Good performance over there. He prefer also to put Jalen Strouble over Alexandre Carrier, and he said he think he is underrated Jalen Strouble. I just don't feel this. I feel disagree, but I'm just shocked to read that because, you have a couple of, he can say Patrick Lanier did not play well or Patrick Lanier should be do this, everything like that. But we talk about a defenseman number 6-7 for the Montreal Canadiens, and now he put him over Caden Cooley. Shocking to hear that, but it is what it is.
Well, just look at where they were drafted as well, Coach. That should tell it all.
Yeah. Again, I'm not. How I say that. I'm not trying to put him down at all when they get, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel shocking. It could be him tonight, and tomorrow it could be another one. And we talked about Georges Laraque a couple of weeks ago, and that's just shocking to see that. So, anyhow, hopefully, I can wait to read all the comments and to say that I will ask McCann why he said that, but he blocked everyone on the Twitter.
Clickbait, that's all it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. So anyhow, Mr. Tap, it's time for what, Mr. Tap? Time to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. So I'll be right back very quickly, Mr. Tap. The Montreal Canadiens, Mr. October, time to talk about everything what happened in the last couple of days. For that, it will not have drafted Lemieux for that. Anyhow, let's move for next one here. Montreal Canadiens cut 29 players still at the camp. I'm sorry. Montreal cut players, and they still have 29 players still at the camp. And I think it's a total, it's a total 29 too. So a couple of players got cut for the Montreal Canadiens and the last couple of days. And honestly, we talk about Farrell, Belzile, we have Fowler, Major, Roy, and many others. The Montreal right now with 29 players. Are you surprised for all the cut they got today, or do you have a specific player you live it? Um, he should maybe continue with the Montreal.
No, I'm not surprised at all, Coach. I went over the list. I sent it in our chat as well. Like I looked at it carefully. No huge surprises there. I mean, you can obviously understand why certain players got cut. They were destined for Laval right off the bat. I'm talking about guys like Fowler, who did have a good camp. I thought he played well, but you knew he wasn't going to be starting in Montreal, no matter how well he played right now. I think he needs that year of improvement or a play at the AHL level, and then hopefully he could be ready next year or the year after. That remains to be seen. But I'm the only thing I'm surprised in. I was based on everything I was reading and hearing. I was expecting a better camp, even though it was better, but it wasn't at the level that it was projected. Was Roy? I thought that he'd give more of a challenge to earn a spot here, but I think he's just, to be honest, I think he's a victim of the fact that we got guys like Bolduc and we Demidov came on the scene, so they're taking wing spots that you could have penciled in for Roy if he had made the improvement, which was a little bit better, but still not at the level it should have been. So, um, you know, I think the writing for Roy is on the wall, right? Like I he's going to go down to Laval, and I think he's going to have a great year, just along the same lines as last year, possibly even better. Uh, and I think he will be an NHL player. I just don't necessarily see it in Montreal.
Very good point here, Mr. Natap, for sure. Before we answer to your talk with you about why everybody else, Marco, yes, it's going to be a one more year, Marco,
Waiver
for
exam?
Engstrom to get clear.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I don't think Marty gave Roy much of the chance. His license was pretty basic, no excuse, but everyone has an opinion. I do, but I never play an NHL game. For that, one will Engstrom no longer be waiver next season. New York, Bolduc, Anderson, Gallagher are all better winger who is showing no sign he would be a full-time NHL player for N26. And this is where I want to bring a little bit the conversation. I don't know. I have the next subject, but let's go from this way. By the way, here, if it's cool with other letter, it's no big deal. But you have guys, Farrell, Roy, Mejar. Let's take those three players right now. And Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Natap, they try to build an identity. We heard that word by the mouth of Martin St. Louis and Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon, everybody on the Montreal Canadiens organization, their identity. They want to create an identity for the team. They want the team to be front, that way or that way and that way, that way. And 26 talk about winger they have right now, Gallagher, Anderson, Laine, and Demidov, Zakowski, Caulfield, and Sammy Blair. I think I see, and I can be wrong here, it's getting difficult for the player, small gabarit, a 5'10", as 5'11", to play with the Montreal Canadiens on the bottom six. It's going to get more difficult in the future. Right now, it's borderline. But in the future, I think Montreal Canadiens want to be more physical, more grander, sandpaper. I'm talking about the bottom six, by the way. And they want, the specific players with a 6'2", a 6'3", a 6'5". And this is what my perception for the Montreal Canadiens. I could be wrong here, and if I'm wrong, that's okay. But I think this is what they're targeting. That's what they're looking for. That's the vision, I believe, for the next 2, 3 years. That said, Mr. Notap, the new players coming, and you can see starting with the draft for 2 years ago, the Florent Jekai, the Tyler Thorpe, the Popenikis, Zarovsky. This is all those kind of player guys, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and play center wingers, no matter. Because what they're targeting is to get the best player with the skill and talented, but also with a big body. That's what they're targeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, those kind of players like now, like Mézard, Farrell, and Roy, they're going to be eliminate the next couple of months, couple of year very quickly to be out of the Montreal Canadiens because Montreal are targeting other kind of players. Roy, it was drafted by Marc Bergevin. Mézard, it was drafted by Ken Hughes. Farrell was drafted by Marc Bergevin. That said, this is what I feel they're targeting now and they want to have in their team. So players like Joshua Roy, Farrell, and Mézard are going to die, not because they are not good players, it's because that's the direction of the Montreal Canadiens. Also, for Joshua Roy, this is year number 3 with the Montreal Canadiens. Last year, he had a good year 3 years ago. He came at the second half, a little bit like RHP, to play game in NHL, 10 game, 15, 20, 30, 50, 50, 60 game. It's one thing, but to be constantly in NHL for 200, 300, 400, like Jake Evan example, it take a special to stay with consistency. Obviously, I don't see that for 3 players right there. Good American Hockey League, good for Laval Rocket, but I don't see this going to be a future with Montreal. Their value right now is not big. Can Farrell keep waiver today? Is going to be claimed. I'll be shocked if he is. If he's this, perfect. That's wish him good luck. But I don't see, he scored 1 goal, 1 assist yesterday. I understand that. But at the real time, when the Montreal Canadiens will be a good team and playing the better, manifold game, example, playoff time, everything, I don't see those 3 players. And I just mentioned 3 right now because, I can go with Luke Talk, Arsenault, everything. But those 3 players was a little bit more, part of me being the Montreal Canadiens like 1 year ago or 2 years ago. But I think that's eliminated by the way the new vision Montreal. So I would like to hear from the chat and you, Mr. Tap, how you feel about this.
You're absolutely right, Coach. I mean, it's quite obvious the direction that Hughes and Gorton want to go. These players, like even if you look at somebody like Florian Jacki, right? I mean, he's made a great impression. I think that there's definitely he's more in line to be with the team down the road. Like I still think that they want him to go to Laval and just harness his offensive aspect a little bit more because he brings the right things to the game, right? And that's exactly the prototypical type of player that they want, as you mentioned, in the bottom 6. And the guys that are in question, like Farrell and Mézard, like it's not that they won't be around in the NHL, but their windows are closing here in Montreal in terms of fitting into a spot that will A, ensure success for them, and B, be the best thing for the team overall. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, this is what always happens. Like you draft, and hopefully you have a lot of draft picks to select, and you try to develop the players the best you can. But when you make a transition from one regime to another in terms of management, they come with a whole new set of expectations, and unfortunately, they don't fit the expectations here. And in terms of the waiver, I would just add, it's not just Montreal that's looking to build, a big, solid, truculent type of team, right? That can play defense as well, has that component to their game. I mean, it's pretty much the entire NHL. And if you look at how Florida's structured, that's exactly what everybody's trying to copycat now, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about them being picked up on waivers. If they do, then that's an opportunity that is available for them to pursue their career, but it's not a huge loss. Like, even with the exception of maybe Massar, like the ones that were drafted were late rounders, anyways.
Yeah, absolutely about that. Again, a lot of great comments in the chat, and I appreciate that. Yeah, new people knock the door. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be good. And we see. But honestly, I think, like you said, and like I said, I think that's the way the Montreal are going to act. And the value is not high at this moment. And Montreal does not like to lose players, of course. You're always thinking about a value of someone can bring you a round pick, and but again, maybe Joshua Watt could fit at San Jose or somewhere else, but I don't think it will fit with the Montreal Canadiens for that part. Some people talk about Luke Talk. I don't see Luke Talk to be a part of this equation at long term. The player guys was on the waiver today, guys, is Farrell, Belzil, I believe. Au Dauphin, I apologize, Dauphin. Clermont, Del Galzo, and I missed one.
No, I think did Del Gaiso. I don't think he's on the list. I'm not sure
I
about
think
Del
he was.
Gaiso. He was? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah.
Now, I said it was. Now, I could be wrong here too, but I was surprised to see that.
He's
I
actually
was
put in
surprised
a
to see him on the list today. So here we go, guys. It's Condotta, Belzil, Farrell, Clermont, and Del Galzo.
Oh, it is. He is.
So I
Okay.
was missing, guys, Condotta. So I apologize for that. So I'm waiting for Sakowski to take a big step. Joshua Roy have his chance to prove himself and what he proved. That's his lazy players. And Canada and Brazil on the waiver too. So that give you guys a little bit an idea what's going on Montreal Canadiens. We have to wait. Thanks a lot, Tony, and everybody else. About that, Edmonton just scored a goal, 3-0, get the Vancouver Canucks. Mr. Luc talk about Farrell, everything. So thanks, everybody. Good. Mr. Ron, moderator, is in the house. Thanks so much to be a part of the show. We appreciate that. So we're going to get a little bit the weekly recap for the Montreal Canadiens. But honestly, we're going to talk about what happened in the game yesterday. Montreal won by a score of 4-2. I'm going to put 9 on the board, guys. Better performance for Adam Ekstrom, in my opinion. Joe Veleno, the line of Joe Veleno, Owen Beck, and Sammy Blair have a good game. New Hook, I believe, have a really good game for a long time with the Montreal Canadiens yesterday. Yes, he got cut today, but Sean Farrell delivered a good performance, in my opinion, with Belzil. But that line is honestly with top. That's is the line of the Rocket. That's pretty much that. But I have to give credit also to goaltender Kakkonen, with his performance yesterday. I think he did very good save at the right moment, at the big moment for the Montreal when it was maybe 3-1. But overall, good performance for the Montreal. Can bounce back for the very bad game Thursday night. And they look better Saturday. It's still not great whatsoever. They are 3-1 after 4 games. I understand that. Maybe coach is too negative. It's not about negative, just like it's an exhibition game. So at the end of the day, that's what. So I don't know if you want to talk about fun things, and we'll see what we got there.
I think the next 2 games are the key ones, Coach. I think you're going to start seeing more designated players with certain lines. And I think we can expect possibly more cuts on Wednesday before the final ones are made at the end of the 6 exhibition games that they played. You know what? I'm glad that they had a good pushback game against the Leafs, because I agree. I thought there was really no excuse for them to come out totally flat the first game against the Leafs and lose in the manner in which they did. There was very little positive to take away from that game, and you figure that part of the focus this year was to have the players ready from the get-go and ready to get into the season on a positive note, ready to play. And that was a big fail. that particular night. So it was good to see that they pushed back. Now, of course, you can come forth and you can make all sorts of excuses and say, "Hey, it's only an exhibition game." You know what? They were playing the third and fourth line players from the Toronto Maple Leafs and Marlies, and I mean, and you could say obviously they're going to come out hungry for a position, whereas we had some of our starters and didn't perform as well, and so they're sort of pacing themselves. I get that but I don't think it's an excuse not to put an effort in. I can understand them being hungrier in that game, but I can't understand how they could come out as flat as they did. So I'm glad that they came back and performed much better in this 4-2 game with the victory. I thought that they had good control of the game. I thought the guys, like you said, Veleno and Beck particularly had solid games. I liked Newhook as well. Engstrom's I think he's going to be a solid player. The thing I like about Engstrom, coach, and I think that this is going to work to his benefit, is that he can play on both sides, right, left and right.
Yeah.
When he was with um, uh, is he Finnish or Sweden? I can't remember now. But he played on the right side, so he doesn't look like he's out of place on either side. So this guy has a huge ceiling in my eyes, and I think him going back to Laval at the beginning of the year will serve him well, especially now with Reinbacher being out for, I want to say, probably 7 or 8 games at the beginning of the year that he'll miss. So they're going to really have to rely on Engstrom to carry the load there at Laval.
Great point about that. Great comments. A lot of good people in the chat sharing their comments about something about the Montreal Canadiens. We appreciate a lot. Everybody, don't forget, please, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be good. Look, start with Adam Ekstrom. It's funny because I put this. I don't say it's going to be forcing, but pay attention how he skate, his gravity of his body is the copycat of forcing. Like, if you look how he skate, he is exactly like Forsling. That said, it's not going to be Forsling. I understand that. But I really like his game yesterday. This is a guy that player I follow for years. This is a guy that players I feel yesterday it was really who he is. And he's just going to get better. Because it was disappointment. For me, it was a disappointment during the first game at the rookie camp. He did not play with David Rebacker. Is it a good sign yesterday? I think it was a better match for him, and that was helping him. But again, he can play on the right side. I think it would be better on the left side. But that's fun between him and Rebacker. And now he's not afraid to skate with the puck. He's like he try, like he work hard. He have a really good heart, and sometimes he make mistake, but he catch up after that. So he find a way to get better and better every single year. I think another year with Laval Rocket, guys, Engstrom is going to be a solid player, I believe, for the next year. We have to wait a little bit more what it will be long term with the Montreal Canadiens. Jordan, how come we don't see Josh Anderson play penalty kill? Because he was not the ice, Jordan. He was not the master the last 2 games. I think so. That's the first thing about that. So when he's going to be normal, you're going to see him more often, Jordan. About this, and the game he played, the last game, he have no penalty really. So, but you see him a little bit there. Garrett say talk about fun things with Triple W and Jordan. Keep up with your great conversation there. Now, the line of Giovanni, Beck, and Blair, for me, it was maybe the line with the most chemistry between 3 players yesterday. Villeneuve, for me, played a solid game, in my opinion. Some of them yesterday, the show was disagree, at least one person, but it's okay. 69% face-off. He played very well. One thing I would say, guys, for Owen Beck, I would say, guys, I understand the fans are looking for the puck. He go with there. Me, because the camera, Mr. Tap, is not on the player with no puck, right? It's usually is the puck. You follow the cameraman, follow the guy with the puck. I understand that. I wish I was at the game so I can see who does not have the puck and what they do. But yesterday, guys, 2 times on the same line, Beck, Veleno, and Blair. They have a puck go on the board or deep in the zone. And at some point, Owen Beck recognized, wait a minute, I need to be F3. So he read the play very well, he become F3. That's a guy, he understands the game at 200 feet. I see the same thing with Sammy Blair and Joe Veleno in the game. For me, this is great to see that line. I really like that line right now. We'll see if they're going to use them again. But right now, that line was the best and the last, at least, since the beginning of the playoff, the excellent game is on top. Other than the fact the line of Ziski, Caulfield, and Sakoski have a good game. They have like 5 points, I believe, that night. I think that night yesterday is the best line as a chemistry-wise since the beginning exhibition game with 3 players have great opportunity, play a solid game on all areas of the game. I think for me it was really great to see them, all 3, maybe battle, fight for the same spot. It's funny you said that, but that's the reality behind that. That's maybe who they are. One of the 3 is going to be maybe on the line of New Hook and Budget, Mr. Tap. So we have to see what's happening there. And but again, I'm really happy about that. Alex New Hook, I feel he skate better, in my opinion. I think if he has, I don't know, I could be wrong. He's always a beast speed, but I think I see him a little bit more faster, but more and control what's going on the ice. So I think that's one thing right there. Sean Ferrer, we talked about him a little bit earlier, Kekkonen. That said, the other side of on this part. We need to see more about Budzik before I make a good judgment about him. Some of you, Marco, talk about him a little bit, and other people, and that's okay, by the way, to evaluate his play. But I'm still waiting for Budzik. I still want to see a little bit more. He has some flash, and then quiet. And I think sometimes go with chemistry, everything like that, and I have to wait a little bit more for Budzik. It's not that I have a bad player or a bad game. I just want to see a little bit more for him to be involved with the play and to feel a little bit more. Have a 2 great shots yesterday. That's the reason, like, one thing I would say about Budzik, guys, if you want to watching him, what is power shot, Mr. Top? Like, he has a great shot, release shot. The goal of the rebound, is it Alex Neho? No. Who scored a goal on the after the pad of maybe it's Alex Newhook. I think it is. He have a shot budget. He hit the right pad of Stolarz. The puck go to Carrier, and Carrier refined after that Newhook. But the quality of the shot of Budzik make that goal at the end of the day. So again, we see on the defensive side, guys, Strobel versus Jekai. At the end of the day, that was really the reason they tried to play yesterday. They have both camp, but I think Jekai have more big mistake. That's why right now is a little bit behind Strobel, but don't sit behind. I just like he made 2 big mistakes. The fight happening or whatever it is, the penalty, and then yesterday the turnover. Create the goal for the Tavares. That's a little bit more that people remember more. Strobel did a couple of things. He go about do me, but they are missing on top right now. And what's going on with Montreal Canadiens? 2 players are going to be equal at that moment. It's all depend what you want for versus the team you play tonight. And I think they can play good, both of them, with the Montreal Canadiens for the upcoming season. And we'll see. But very happy for the both players, the camp so far. Part of the game is not to make mistakes. It's part of the game to at the exhibition game, you rust or you make a bad decision making, and that's okay with that part. It's just Albert Jacquet, you want to get a full-time job to stay in the NHL. You want to have a specific role to be on the PK. The mistake he did yesterday should not happen. That's the reason behind that. That said, he learned from that mistake. It's better to make that mistake, Mr. Tap, at the exhibition game against Toronto at the do at October 8th, the first game of the season. So we'll see what he's going to do. But I think overall, it's fun to see two players fight for the same spot, and they all gave their best, and the Montreal, they are more benefit of that situation. So that's pretty much what happened around them. I don't want to talk about the four line, was not an impact. But one more player I want to finish, and then you can jump Mr. Tabe with a chat too, as the performance of Tyler Top, he got cut today. But Tyler Top have a solid, again, camp with the Montreal Canadiens every year since he got drafted. His development camp in July 2 years ago, after he got drafted, have a really good camp. Then he moved on the rookie camp, good performance. Then this year he come back for the development camp, good camp. He go to rookie camp, good camp. He have a couple of good exhibition games. It's not like he's lost on the ice. He cannot skate, or he's completely not there. I really like Tyler Top. That would be benefit for him for 1 more 2 years in the American Hockey League. But we talk about guys, a big winger at 6'5", body, and he can put the puck in the net, guys. I'm telling you right now, when you go see a Top, he can play very well, and he have a good hockey sense. Play on the PK last year with the Vancouver Giants, 6 goals. Lead the WHL with the most goal on the PK. Tyler Top. Mr. Tap, I'm done to talk right now.
All solid points, Coach. I don't disagree with any of those. I think you can expect Struble and Jack-Eye to probably do a lot of splitting of duties. One thing I really did like was the pairing of Jack-Eye with Carrier. I think Carrier is very good for him. I'm starting to see Carrier is moving the puck really well this year, and he can create some sneaky offense that you don't really expect out of him. I thought Jack-Eye was much better on his skates. You could tell that having lost, I think it was 10 pounds, has really helped his skating ability. Is he still making mistakes? Yes, as are others as well. But I think that he brings so much to the game that he's going to be in the lineup more so than not, right? Moving forward, like you got to look at Beck, and you got to look at Kapanen, and I think that's where the real fight's going to come in terms of who makes the team as the 13th, 14th. Now, it's kind of a bit of a conundrum, right? Like if let's say you take somebody like Beck, you don't want him to be your 13th and 14th and sit. Like, he's got to continue to develop, and he's got great vision of the game, as does Kapanen. I think they both have high hockey IQ. If you look at the two, I would say right now, I think Kapanen is probably a little bit more polished. He can do a little bit more than what Beck has, but I think Beck has the higher ceiling of the two. I think also in terms of the overall effort, I think Beck kind of outworked Kapanen a little bit, but that's just my point of view. I saw that he brings some physicality to the game, and by that, it's not just going around and making hits, but it's just his ability to sort of put in the work. He doesn't make clearing passes up the middle of the ice. He's always using the lanes down the board and clearing it properly. He sees where the play is going to occur and tries to anticipate it. So I think he brings a lot. And then the fact that you got a guy that can play wing if you're not going to use him as center, although it would be a shame not to. But it gives you that flexibility, and that's why I like Veleno as well, because if you can sneak two two centermen on a particular line and use them interchangeably at faceoffs on different sides of the dots, I mean that just gives you so much strength. Remember, possession is the big part of the game that you want to try to improve on, and if you got the puck, then you're being chased. You're not doing the chasing. Face-offs, like I said, on both ends, he's solid. You can use somebody like Beck for penalty kill if you need it. Um, like I just think he's made a good impression again. I've always thought highly of Beck, but I think this particular camp he's also made he's shown that there's been a step up to his game. So we'll see how they approach this with Beck and Kapanen, but I think it's going to come down between those two in terms of the last cut.
Good question. Peter, will you ask a question about Bodzik and no answer for everyone? I think your question is about why they
What's the
trade
question?
Bodzik for Snaggerad or over Snaggerad. And then you ask about Bodzik, what it was intouchable. I don't know. Honestly, I did not pick up that one. I don't know if Minata, you pick up that
Yeah,
comments or not.
I I think I saw a little bit of it. I mean, like make no mistake about it. Originally, I think Cairo was the original destination that Montreal wanted to get, the player that they were after. It wasn't until further negotiations that they settled with Bolduc. But make no mistake about it. Bolduc will be a solid player. If you look at his second half of last year, I mean, this guy was on fire, and you saw his shot. I like the fact that you know he's the kind of guy you need on the line that will dig out the puck, and that's a specialty on the boards. Like this guy will, you know, go right to the wall, and he will not lose a battle, and that's what you need eventually to set up guys like Demidov or whoever they play him with, whether it's New Hook or I think he's a solid pickup, and there's a reason why we had to give up somebody like Mayu, a right-handed defenseman who are scarce in the NHL, to get him.
You're right about that for sure. Bodzik could end up a second line replacing Demidov if he struggle. Bodzik plus Demidov is going to start more fire Global, our main Jordan. And 50 likes for 50 goals. Butch, here you go. I would love to get more likes, so for sure. I apologize, guys. I put Del Gazzo there. You have no spot at the team. Before we go that, I have a question, Mr. Tap, for all the people in the chat. I go deep right now, Mr. Tap.
Go deep.
You put on the waiver, Mr. Tap, the same day. It will happen. Caden Primo or Capo or Kako Kakanen. Which goalie do you take? And if they are at the same day, do you think a team going to claim one of the two, or team going to claim both of them? So again, I'm going to repeat the question. At the same day, the Montreal Canadiens have to put on the waiver Kakanen. The Canada Hurricane with another W for Primo. Primo is 200, guys, with 0.936. Save percentage is excellent right now. But there are already 3 goaltenders over there. So they have to, but not possible, they will have to put him on the waiver. My question for all of you, if they are on the waiver on the same day, do you think both of them going to be claimed? Do you think one of them will be claimed? Which one of them, or not at all? They're not going to be claimed. I wish I could do that question, but
You
how
just
you feel
did,
about
Coach.
that?
Yeah, look, if it's me as a general manager, I would take Kakkonen for sure. I think his biggest issue has always been consistency, but I mean he's shown good flashes from time to time wherever he's been. I know he's been more of a journeyman, but when when you have somebody like him, I think you saw that in the game against the Leafs. Like he could be a solid pickup for you as a backup. I don't see the same right now uh, with Primo. Like he's been good in exhibition games, even when he was with Montreal. And that's the reason we got into that three-headed goaltending mess that we had a few years ago. I know there were other factors as well, but they didn't want to lose him, and he was looking like he could finally crack the NHL, and maybe he is. I'm not saying that he's not ready, but he hasn't shown it yet. So if I had to pick between the two, it'd probably be Kakinen.
Well, that's one comments right there. Some people said Primo, some said Kakkonen. Primo struggled badly in NHL before. I understand that. But I just want to show to you guys, I think they will not be claimed at all, both of them.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they will not be claimed at all, not allowed. Bad Bunny halftime show. GF, I think the score was 13-9, I believe, GF. I don't know how G put it. I apologize. Mike Godet,
Yeah.
welcome back. GF, welcome back. All of you, thanks to be with that. Now, and we're going to talk about this Beck, Kapanen, Veleno. We did pretty good. We're going to go back a little bit later after that, Mr. Antap. But I want to, Pierre W talk with Triple W. And he want to know, I think I understand what he tried to do, Mr. Natap at PLW. He tried to explain or to ask why the Blues trade Zachary Bolduc. He feel like they trade him because he have something they don't like for Bolduc. I agree or disagree with that comment?
I'll disagree. It's just a matter. It's a hockey trade, and sometimes to get something that you want, and I think they really wanted Mayu. I mean, you got to give something up, and of course they weren't going to give up Snuggerud, right? Like I think that regardless of where they may have been drafted in first overall, not overall, but in the first round, it I think that the ceiling for both of them could be very good, but I think Snuggerud's probably a more complete hockey player than Bolduc will. But I think if you think about it, Bolduc is a very good fit for Montreal. Like we talk about asset management. You're filling a spot that was desperately needed, a solid, rugged winger that can contribute offensively, has a great shot, can skate, and can keep up with players like Newhook and the likes, Demidov as well. You got to give up something good in order to get something good. So I think it's just a byproduct of that, personally.
A couple of comments left and right. Montgomery, I don't think he likes a Bolduc game. His minute decline and the playoff as well. Bolduc is a 20-goal winger with some power play time. Is not much more that and 26. It's a redundancy PLW Blues and Ab addressing need with their supply they add. Bolduc bring that grits. No one has said Bolduc is perfect. No, but I think this is I agree with you, Mr. Natap. It's about a hockey business decision to trade two players for what they don't have. They thinking they will helping their team a long term, and that's the reason behind that. Yeah, nothing. I don't think so. Montreal trade Logan Mailloux for behaviors. I don't think so. The Blues trade Zachary Bolduc for behaviors. Sometimes you trade a player because you have other players step up more and they fill up that spot if you leave your team. And I think for the Blues to fill up a right defenseman at young age where the core is older and older, and the pipeline, it's nothing close on the defenseman. This is a good for them. On the flip side, they have to pay the price to get that plus. Mayu is to sacrifice Bolduc. And they don't want to trade Kiru, and they're not going to trade Jimmy Snuggerud. That's no sense for me. So I don't think it's something they don't like about Bolduc. They just feel for the benefit of the team at long term, it would be better if they can get a right defenseman like Mayu to play with the team versus Bodzik at long term. That's how I see that, and that's why I think that's why how you explain that one.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
So that one. There are a couple people in the chat for that. Frank, welcome in the house. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Glad to see you, my friend. Don't forget everybody to click on the likes. That'd be great. Mr. Tap, before we go to the clash, you finish the show. Let's go with this one, first of all. Keep this a bit better for you before you maybe get some heat. Prospect Alexander Zarovsky, Mr.
He scored. He scored.
What a great start. Zarovsky, 1 goal, 1 assist at his first game in the KHL. And no, I don't follow KHL this year like I did last season. I'm going to do like everybody. I'm going to see who put the goal on on the video on the social media. Then I'm going to repost the goal. Canucks just scored a goal, the 3-1. Artur Ratti scored a goal, Mr. Tap. Artur Ratti, ex-draft by the New York Islanders, if you remember.
That's right, absolutely.
On the trade for Bo Horvat. One thing I would say to you also for the Vancouver Canucks, was hopefully Licky Mereki. Oh, what a shot, by the way. I just see the replay right there, my guys. This is a top shell, a turnover by the New York, by the Edmonton Oilers. I would like to see that. This is a shot, a top shell tonight for Raddy. Anyhow, I would like to see which winger make a mistake for the Oilers, guys. At home, get that one. And, Frédéric Messanta make that mistake on the crowd. So I apologize. Zarovsky have a great performance yesterday. 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist. It was 1. But Pickford, he looked like right now Paul Coffey Messanta at the WHL. Like 4 goals, 2 assists. This kid is amazing for that. The Medicine Hat to a record of 2-1-0 since the beginning. 2-1-1, I believe, since the beginning. No, 2-1-0 since the beginning of the WHL. But what a great performance of Bigford right now for the Montreal prospect. Looking great for that one. Volonkin, play the VHL. It's getting too easy for him on the top right now. That said, he have one bad game on the 6th start he did right now for the team. Unfortunately, he is with a Spartak, if I can recall it, or the Dynamo, and they have no room for him at the beginning. Vancouver Canucks score back-to-back goal, guys, and the rookie Coates draft by Vancouver, the NHL draft 2025, get his goal for that.
3-2.
Now, Mr. Tap, let's see something before I make a comments right there. I see the replay, guys.
Frederick.
All right. Now, if someone can explain, I'm not a goalie coach, what kind of move Skinner did. He did, Mr. Tap, a 360.
Really?
He did a 360 at the blueprint before he got beat.
Wow.
It's not Dominic Hasek move, by the way. But this, I never see that in my career hockey, guys. He did a 360, a speedorama à la David. Here we go. I hit that's where you're going to see the hit. I'm talking about the
Maybe Dominic Hasek.
Yeah, no, we just see the guy, he hit the skate of the players. But before that, I just want to see Skinner. Anyhow, really great to see that. Volonkin, Eriksson have a good start. He have 2 games with no point. Now he came back with 2 assists for him. And then when we talk about the good thing, we did talk about players struggling. Koivu struggling right now with the team Liga. Since he's back from Montreal, he scored a couple of goals. He did not put a puck in the net so far. And he did not have 0, maybe 1 assist so far. He's really struggled, Koivu. And Mekar, we don't know what's going on with Mekar. He's on the VHL right now. He's not on the injury reserve. but he's still hurt. He does not play. So that gave you guys an overview of the players. Next week, you're going to see the NSA play now next week. We're going to hear more about Mooney, Harris, Michael Edge, Ben Merrill, Logan Sawyer, Middlestad, Jack Smith, Croteau, Cournoyer, more. You're going to have a lot of prospects and NSA for this year. So going to follow a lot of those prospects for upcoming year. Good night, Mr. Marco. Thanks to be with us tonight. I appreciate a lot your participation on the Hockey Nation Live show on that one. So that's happening, guys. Mr. on top of that one. 9:13. I don't know if you want to talk this. We talked this Friday night after the Heat. I sent everybody. I'll give you that question. You can answer anyway. Who you want to go that direction? Go see that shot will be hot like they was Friday night.
Yeah, of
but
course.
The second line, Mr. Natal. What they should do with the
we
second
have
line.
one. What should we do, or what will Marty St. Louis do? Like,
yes, or what do you think Natal will do with the second line?
I think the hot potato in all of this equation is Laine, right? We were talking about that on Friday as well, Coach. He's getting to a point where it's hard to peg him in. Definitely an elite player in terms of specialty team, and particularly the power play. Not too many people have his kind of release and shot, and extremely valuable to a team like Montreal that needs to improve on their specialty, on their power play and special teams overall. But is he going to last on the second line? I think Marty St. Louis, if he goes according to script like he has in the past, I think you're going to probably see the line of Doc with Laine and Demidov to start off with. But I'm certain that the way they're going to structure, like who they keep as their two extra forwards, will probably dictate versatility, and he's going to try different combinations. Like if you look at the first and the fourth line with Galley, Evans, and Anderson, and of course Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky, I think we're pretty much set there in terms of that. Those two lines won't be touched, but everything in the middle, you're going to see different variations and combinations. Personally, I think eventually we will see somebody like Bolduc move into that second line as a winger, because of the fact that he can dig out pucks, and possession is very important for a team like that. And if you got Demidov and you're getting the puck and putting it in his hands, like it can only mean good things for the line moving forward. The other key question mark is going to be Doc, right? And I think part of the decision making is going to be, is he going to be exact? I know that they're planning to get him ready for the first game, but are they going to be proceeding with caution with him? If that's the case, then they need players that can easily, slide into that spot. Like it could be a Newhook. It could be, if they keep somebody like Veleno, I wouldn't put him that high, but because I don't think he's a second line player. But I mean, for a game, it might not be the worst of ideas. You can always, they saw last year with Evans, they put him in there temporarily. But again, I wouldn't want to break up that line necessarily. But I think you will see Bolduc, Doc, and Demidov as the idea of starting them there, or not starting them there, but eventually moving to that. But it'll be Laine that starts off there before Bolduc will take over that spot.
Yeah, would be very interesting what happening for that part. That line did not do well so far since the beginning. Since the beginning of the exhibition game between Laine, Demidov, and Kirby Doc. Now, Doc play only one game between both of them. The
Yeah,
danger
no
between that
surprise.
is really the defensive zone coverage, right? This is
Exactly.
what I believe this is the problem they have right now. And that we have to fix that problem. First of all, we have a few people knock the door. Francois is back with us. Luke is also with us. Thanks really for all the likes we got. Are they hoping someone pick Farrell? One is going to be Waiver. He was on the waiver today. I'll be shocked, Francois, if he is. But if he is, we wish him good luck. It is what it is for that one. Now, Lenny is not Waska that dark defensively. Lenny is last not to Waska Demidov defensively. I disagree with you about that, to be honest with you. Lenny never been a defenseman players in NHL. And it's getting worse because he cannot move his feet. And honestly, that's the biggest problem for him. With two players are not
5-on-5.
specialists or strong on defensive like Gubidak and Dimnov yet. This is what he put this all three together. Good on the offensive side, but not great on defensive. They will have to if they keep Demidov and Lenny together, example, they will need someone is really responsible on the defensive zone coverage. No doubt in my mind. And for me,
Yeah.
Doc is not the solution. Newhook is not the solution. And N26 after that is Jake Evans. I understand that, but you cannot move Jake Evans for the 4 line to be in the second line. 1 or 2 game, 3
Yeah, I
game,
wouldn't.
5 game, 1-2 weeks, I
Yeah.
understand, that's okay. But long term, I don't think so. And I think you have 2 options right there. And it's still not sure. I don't think Joe Veleno is great on defensive right now. That said, I'm not saying he's not bad, but I don't think is a solution right now. The only thing right now we have to look is Chrissy said that, but it's Owen Beck and
Yeah.
Kapanen. Mr. This
And
team
I don't think
owners
they
is
keep
only
both.
McDavid and Tressadol. That's crazy.
When haven't they been those two players?
That's
Now,
I'm telling you right now.
now we know why he hasn't signed a long-term contract, right?
Like they all fit like crazy on the same glove, my friend. Anyhow, that's
Yeah.
right now what I can see. If they want to do something, if they want to keep both together, so I don't know.
Okay, so here's the thing, Coach, and I've been saying this right from the beginning. The big void is that 2C. Now I understand they're not gonna rush through it right now because it doesn't make sense. Like they're going to try the different permutations with the players that they have and see if there is some chemistry between some of them. But at some point, like probably around, I'd say if they've tried different combination, and it's not working out, it's going to force their hands. I know ideally we all think let's wait till next summer and then the free agency is a lot better for 2Cs and we'll go after it at that point. But it's so tight in these, coach. You cannot afford to drop off in the if your idea is to be in the mix and to get into a playoff spot again, then after Thanksgiving, I think you're going to see some teams throwing in the towel. And that's when maybe you can make a deal to get your 2C. Now, you can make arguments and say, do we get a stopgap until somebody, hopefully, like Hage, is ready to take on that role? Perhaps. Or you can think more long term. But it's going to cost you, and you don't want to disrupt the team if they're doing relatively well. But there's a glaring gap for that 2C on this team. And until that's addressed, we're going to be struggling. We're going to be struggling to get into the playoffs again. I love the story last year that they did and they got through and made the playoffs, but it's going to be tough this year to get to that same spot. I hope I'm wrong, but That's what I see. Until they address the 2C spot, we're not going to be moving in huge waves forward in a positive direction.
You're right. We have to wait what's happening there. Yeah, I agree with you, A2, about that. Look, we don't want to put anybody down, but we just talk about what if it's not work. And right now, for all the
Yes,
line happenings during the exhibition, and I understand it's only two, by the way. But I think that line is the one I'm a little bit more concerned with. Does it make sense? Like, this is a line we don't have last year. All year long, we don't have
that's right.
a 5-on-5, and we want to Montreal to return the playoff. We have to have that a better line for the second. And the time will tell us. But like you said, PW, the center and every line usually is the center is your playmaker, the play driver, and the one make all the great play on defensive side of the game. Like,
Defensively responsible. Yeah.
exactly. Like, Philippe Dano is a great piece of the puzzle, right? You can use him on the third line, second line. It would fit that solution. I think the time Sean Mannion was pretty good with the Montreal Canadiens. I think you talk about Fleur Panthers. Anton Lundell is a great pace, a great player like that.
Yeah.
And the player close to Lundell right now in the Montreal Canadiens as a center, it's Kapanen and Beck. That's the reality behind
That's
that.
that's why I say it'll come down to those two, Coach. I really think they're going to look at it and they're going to go with the player that offers a little bit more versatility. You might argue at some point if they go, and I think that person will probably be Beck. You might argue, well, no, I think not Kakinen. I lost my train of thought now.
Check out.
That he'll be better, but in the end, Kapanen, sorry, not. You can argue that he'll be better, but I think Beck will give them more versatility, and that's I think what they want to do. The problem is neither one of them, in my eyes, Kapanen or Beck, is a 2C. I think they're 3C at best.
Oh, yeah. You talk about hierarchy at long term. I agree with you about that. At short term, maybe because that's what they need. I would say maybe the solution. It's not the best solution, but that's what they got right now. We want to thank Mr. Dan is in the house. Welcome back. And we have also David is in the house with us. Talk about Barrett Ayton. David, a great proposal on that. We talk about him all summer. Honestly, that's a player behind everything. Play a big role with Team Utah as a center. He checked all the boxes of what you're looking for. I agree with you about that. So we have to wait what happening, guys. But again, and Pierre W talk about Joe Villano. If Villano can be a really good responsible, this is a guy you need right now as a center. Like, the kid have a great hands, by the way, right?
Not a 2C though, Coach.
But that's what they don't have right now. So
I know.
If Joe Villano can increase that part of the game, I think it could be that one. Thanks so much, Henry. You're welcome, David, for that one. So again, New Hook is not also a 2C, guys. Doc right now in New Hook, they're all bottom six for the Montreal Canadiens. In my opinion right now, who they are all bottom six. Montreal have a bunch of bottom six.
Solid bottom six, yes.
Until they find the right guy for the second center. And I'm going to give you a name right here. A player right now will fit with the Montreal Canadiens. And I just not want to tell, go trade him. But I think a player like Bo Horvat will fit inside of Montreal Canadiens to helping Demidov and helping Patrick Laine. This is the kind of player I feel it will be a good matchup with those two players, Laine and Demidov. That's what I feel. But to get him, it's not going to be easy. And we'll see if it's happening about that. but Montreal going to fix that problem at some point. And but again, tonight we just talk about what could happen and what we are going to do. And for the next couple of weeks, that's that situation with a second line for the Montreal Canadiens. And we're going to talk about this for not only tonight, the last that Friday night. We're going to talk about this, Mr. Tap,
next week.
for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
About that. I agree with you, A2. I think Doc should be on the winger. Honestly, guys, I know we're going to say, come on, coach. I have more confidence when out New Hook over Doc at the position center, Mr. Tap.
I agree. I've always maintained that. I think Doc. I mean, the first indicator is the fact that he's not winning faceoffs. Like his rate of success on the dot is not what it needs to be, especially for a centerman. But he also, given his size, I think he bangs the board well, and he retrieves pucks well. Like his skating is good. I would definitely have him on the wing rather than at center. But we're limited, right? That's the problem. We're going through the list of what we have, and we're playing. Let's see if this fits, and let's see if that fits. But the reality is, we don't have what it takes to be a 2C yet on this team.
You're absolutely right about that. But excess is the legacy of Marc Bergevin. You're right about that one over there. Ovat does not want a trade for New York. Already said he has no trade clause. No, I don't said again. I'm talking about a plot like Bo Ovat. I never mentioned the trade. I never mentioned anything. I just said a plot like him. As the McDavid, it was a little show tonight. You're right about this, Jeff. I'm watching that game, honestly, and it looked that way. We'll see. And this career, how many years by percentage did Ovat make the playoff? For CPL, he played with the team. It's for me, it's not a stat or something you can categorize with that, because it's a team go to playoff. It's not one player bring the team on the playoff. At least you're an exception. And Borat is not that kind of exception. He fit very well as a second center for that one. So I will say to you, it's not the way I would consider that a kind of evaluation about Borat. My opinion. What kind of move Skinner did? I've been asking this question for years, Francois. It's funny you mentioned that, Francois, because I said that to Inartap. I said he did a speedorama à la Denis Savard inside of the crease, Mr. Inartap, but I did not see that. All that is a true second line center would be perfect behind Suzuki. Yeah, I agree with you, and 26. Mr. Inartap, we hit the 10:30, and I'm going to not hold you more. I'm going to skip the clash, and it's worth it. I'm going to stop to skip the stop bench. Start bench and cut also. I think it would be a lot of great conversation we did tonight. Jordan asked a question for you. Would you try Sakoski on the defenseman position on the power play next to Thompson or Hudson, Mr. Inartap?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think his shot is good enough from that spot. I think that Dobson has a better shot than he has, and I think Hudson this summer, that was one of his biggest focus, and you could tell by that goal he scored against the Leafs. He has been working on his shot, and that was, if you want to call it a deficiency in his game, he's trying to correct it. And this guy Hudson is the kind of kid that every year will take on a new challenge, and he will succeed. It's his mindset. Like, this guy is truly a unicorn.
Yeah, we have to wait what he's going to do. I think this year is the year he need to not bounce back. He need to break out season. I apologize for Sakoski. I still believe this is the time for him to do that. And we have to wait if it's going to happening this year. But Antoine Raquel can play center better than Doc, even if he play wing in Pittsburgh. Sakoski better in front of the net on power play. I agree with you. Blame is not the answer. Working on skill is, David. I agree with you about that one over there. So, Mr. On Tap, a great performance for you like you do all the time at the Hockey Nation Live Show. I can't wait to see you next week for the Red Lights. I think we did pretty good where we at. We did not talk about the preview of the upcoming, so I would like you to finish the show with what you expect. Montreal Canadiens have 2 more games this week. Tuesday night, Ottawa Senator at the Quebec City. Saturday, again, the Ottawa Senator at the Canada. And that said, I would like to ask you what Martin Fleury is going to do now. You have 29 players on their wings. What kind of line you expect? What do you see Martin Fleury's strategy is going to do for the next couple of games, for the next 2 games? And then who have to perform to get a spot with the Montreal Canadiens? I think, in my opinion, Veleno and Blais is almost done deal. We still have maybe one more spot. Who have to take advantage of that during the weekend, Mr. Zappa, before we leave the building?
Yeah, I think we mentioned this before, Coach. I think they will be going with 14 forwards, 7 defensemen, 2 goalies for their 23 roster. So you're looking at Kapanen, Beck, Blais, Veleno, Jacky, and did I miss anybody?
I don't think so. I think you did the tour about everything else. I don't think so.
And I think that they're going to go with 3. They're going to go with 3, and I agree both Veleno and Blais may be there, because if you're going to rest some players, like use them as your 13th and 14th, those are the kind of players that you would put there. You wouldn't put a young kid that needs the repetition and development to his game, and he's sitting up in the bleachers, you know.
Rimaki scored a goal to cut the lead for 2 goals and 1 goal for the Oilers on power play. No, 5-6-5. I like this kid, guys. If a player would like to get is this kid, honestly. Great pass by Shedil, by the way. That said, guys, Mr. On Tap, this is a big week for Kapanen and Beck. One of the 2 will be back in Laval for sure. We'll see. I think Kapanen have a little bit advantage compared to Beck. Not what I want, but I think because Kapanen played last year with the Montreal Canadiens and not Beck. But we'll see what's happening for the Montreal, and we'll see what is going to happen. So, very good week for the Montreal Canadiens this week. I can't wait to see you next Sunday. We're going to have a little bit more information about what will be look like the roster, and I can wait to see you at the Blue Jays game during the week at the play-by-play. We're going to produce for the Blue Jays. Mr. Hunter, it was a pleasure to work with you. Really great to see you around. Glad you back in the house, back with the family, and I can't wait to see you next Sunday. Until then, enjoy the week of the end of the September, Mr. Hunter.
Thank you so much, Coach. All the best, and thank you, Hockey Nation. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. It was Mr. Enartap, of course, with the Hockey Nation Show. I know the music will be off here, but I want to thank moderator tonight, Luciano, Ron with Kings, and Mr. Enartap. Marco was in the chat tonight at the news and update. RJ Carabo and all of you people was with me afternoon. PLW example like D, Billy, and others. Thanks so much to follow me every time we turn the switch on, because that's who you are. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. And that's all for tonight, guys. Be well, be healthy. Find a way not only to dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what? He said 2025. What a great night to be all together, guys, to start the week and, of course, to complete the weekend. Always a pleasure to be with you every Sunday night. Until the next time, my friend, the Hockey Nation, the Hab Nation, and all the animals in Thailand. One of my jungle attendant want to tell one more thing, sir. We love you, friends. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the night. I can wait you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. It's coming, like Frank said. Booyah, everybody. Good night, PLW. And 007, don't forget to click on the likes one more time and pinch out. Salut, David.